Morning, you guys. I'm out here at Wabo this morning, and yeah, believe it or not, according to the weather, this is supposed to be clear blue skies for me to get in today, according to the guys here that we talked to on the phone or send me a text. Yeah, as you can see, 500-foot overcast and drizzly rain. Not exactly what I was expecting. We've got another airplane trying to get in here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know if he's gonna make it or not. I wish I would have just had him hold off on it just for a little bit longer until I landed, or at least made it close enough to say, don't come, it's just not worth it. He's on his way. I'm gonna wait here and see if he's able to make it in. If not, we're gonna jet out of here, fly down the river, probably like 500 feet for a few miles until we can get out a little safer area. And then we'll jet up through the clouds where I know that it's safe and there's no hills to run into. Hopefully it doesn't drop any lower in here. It is raining all over here behind me. You guys can see it's just kind of a drizzly stuff, which is actually really difficult to fly when you're flying slow and it's just not beating off the windshield. I just got on the radio with Andrew. He's about 3 miles out. He should be here any minute. I'm glad he didn't come all the way out here for nothing. He did just barely get in. He's got to unload his passengers, then he's out of here up to Haya to pick up some passengers up there, which we flew over, and it is good weather there, sort of. Better than here by far. I'm gonna get out of here probably after he departs, and then back to Goroka. Well, where'd you find the hole? How far out?
4 miles, 5 miles.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, she's right around the corner. Like probably 4 miles, made a left, but I had to dive down, but
yeah.
I could see all the way to the river.
Oh, yeah, no, I had to come down like 15 miles out, so it must be improving, but yeah. Visibility down here is kind of reducing for sure, though. All right, well, I'll wait for you to get out of here, and then I'll depart after you. Andrew's just now leaving. He's just heading up to Haya to pick up some people up there where the weather is much better. Once he gets started up, get out of here, then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. There we go. Let's get going. Andrew just sent me a text and says, easy VFR departure. So, let's go. We're 14%. Wait for my oil pressure to come in a little bit higher. It's below 30. There we go. Sure no kids are walking out this way. PTG's coming up at a normal rate. Oil pressure's now finally coming in at a better rate. And tops out at 656. Well, this is just yet another time I've gotten great weather reports from Wabo. Kind of like the kid who cried wolf. This is the kid who cried clear. I think I'd learn, but evidently not yet. Well, we landed here with, which I didn't actually write down. That's awesome. Should have been 6:35, so we're going to go with, it says 6:40, so we're going to go with 6:30. And we'll come in here and put our flight plan. We are at Wabo, so we're going to invert this one here. There we go. If I need to, I can always make an IFR departure out of here, no big deal. We have nobody on board, and we've got a whopping 4 kgs down there. We're going to go 6:30 on this one. Well, we can head all the way back at, I think I did 7,000 on this, so let me check over here. We'll come over here to the nav tab. I did 7,000 on my flight planning, so all stations Wabo 128.4, Kodiak November Tango Echo, back taxiing for departure Goroka, be on climb, not above 1,000. Orsby 6598, November Tango Echo.
6598, stand by.
It's definitely cleared up a little bit. I mean, the clouds are still right around 500 feet all here, but out towards my departure end, it is looking quite a bit better than when I came in, and also Andrew came in. It was definitely raining at the end of the runway quite a bit. Probably got maybe 2 miles visibility up the valley up that way, but that's just because the mountains rise up. A little bit wet today.
go ahead.
November Tango Echo, taxi Wabo, Goroka, 1 POV.
November Tango Echo, no additional report traffic to company November Tango Kilo, departed Wabo for higher, not above 8,000, estimate higher 0130.
Copy company, November Tango Echo. Fuel caps and selectors are good, our controls are good, our TOS is turned off. We are going to be rotating at 54 knots today. Got our flaps at 20 indicated and verified. We're going to be airspeed alive by the taxiway that we just pulled out of, and we'll be airborne shortly after that. We'll fly down the river until we're at a safe area that we can either climb up through it or find a hole to climb up through it. Ignition, inlet, and lights are done. All stations Wabo 1285, November Tango Echo, departing Wabo. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. Things are great, you guys. If you're a pilot, you got to pick one of these up. They're a buddy check. Takeoff and landing checklist covering your critical items, and yes, you can customize it to say whatever you want. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 1630. Let's go. Pump up my ITT. There we go. There's airborne. My speed's up first. It's definitely a heck of a lot better now than it was. I'll still stay a little bit low until we get out this way until we can see some holes. So let's pull our power on back. Keep our 20 degrees of flap standing. In case I have to make just a VX climb out of here or over something, but it looks like it's clearing pretty good out that way. Oh yeah, I've got 10 miles visibility now, so go ahead and pick up or get my flaps out. Get my prop on back. Figure out what I want to do to get out of here. It's sunny over there. I'm going to head over there, see if I can climb up. If not, we'll come back over here and just do an IFR climb through the clouds. But because I'm seeing sunniness on the ground and it's cloudy everywhere else, makes me think that there's going to be a hole over there. Whether or not it's going to be big enough or not, we will soon find out. Moresby 65908, November Tango Echo, departure. Also a bunch of sun over there.
Go ahead.
November Tango Echo departed Wabo, time 27, tracking up to 10 miles left and right of track 015 on climb, not above 1,000, estimating Goroka, correction 7,000, estimating Goroka 55.
November Tango Echo, traffic is Mike off of Golf Cessna Caravan, departed Maple for Goroka, not above 1,000, deviating 20 miles right of track via the Bema Gap, estimate Goroka 0145.
Copy traffic, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo.
Big holes there.
November Tango Kilo 659.
Big holes here.
High, we'll report after landing.
November Tango Kilo.
Alright, sounded like Andrew is in the circuit higher now, just about ready to land. We'll actually probably be heading out closer to that direction. Oh yeah, there we go. There's some big holes right here, so lots of sun right there. Let's do prop forward. We'll do a VX climb out of here. I mean, I could go just IMC, but it's more fun and more challenging when you try to make it more of a challenge. It's definitely cleared up a lot since when I came in. Okay, let's go 10 degrees of flaps. Go 20 and power up. There we go. Easy. We'll head this way just for a second, just our still at VX. We're just pitching up here for about 14 degrees initially, and then we'll start lowering it on down. I am empty, so I might actually be still around 12 degrees to hold 73. There we go. So a VX is just a best angle of climb, so it's going to get you the most altitude in the shortest distance. So if clouds are around, I want to do VX to get up as high as I can, not necessarily the most altitude in the amount of time, just in the distance. Passing 3,000 now. Looks like we can do a 180 here. Let me see over here if I can out climb that or not. We'll go just a tiny bit more, but now that we're up and clear, we're going to lower the nose, and now I'm trying to get the most altitude by time. So I'm over 85, we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. 0 over 90. Making our left-hand turn out of here, and bringing our prop back on to 2,000 RPM. And 720 on the ITT for our climb. How much more fun is that than just going through the clouds? Now we can go ahead and do our cleanup, turn our lights off, engine inlet back to normal, our igniters turned off. We still got a mountain range over here around 5,000, 5,500, so our cloud layer is going to be probably around 7,000. That's my plan, to head up to that altitude. Bring up here on our big chart. I was planning on going this way with you guys over here, over top of high and around, because it's a prettier route, about the same distance. So let's go that way I could stay lower, 7,000. The highest part of the mountain is right about here, where I'm actually kind of getting, actually no, it's more up this way. But I'm almost 6,000 feet now. I should be able to just to VFR climb over these clouds. Not exactly sure what the mountains are through there. I think they're right around 55, but I mean, you can go over here with the cursor, but I don't trust that all that much. It says 3,000, 2,500, 3,000. So we'll just say VFR. We know that we can make it out here. There we go. We're heading, we're going to go altitude and vertical speed on our autopilot, and it will level us off at 7,000 feet, which I don't think we're going to be able to do unless we drop on down. So there's a couple ways that we can do this. We've got some valleys coming up this way, and in those valleys are pretty wide. That's where all the clouds are going to be spread out, and they're going to be on the ridge tops. That's going to be my best option for staying at 7,000. Our torque all the way back down to 1250 for our cruise. Just pushing on the left-hand rudder now a little bit. We can get our trim set in. This is Mayamathu AYMF. That's what we're going to put in here. That way I have a better kind of visual representation of where I'm actually trying to head to, so that I can look at the map here and then look up here and go, okay, the clouds are kind of going here, so that must be where the highest part of the mountain is, and kind of put both of them together and fill in the gaps. This is a fun flight. If you guys want to try this on Flight Simulator, I've got all these details on my Patreon page. Probably over 100 different flights with charts and like different weather. They go with usually linking with another video that you can follow along with and recreate. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check out that. I've also got a lot of on-the-ground content that I don't share here in these videos. Walking around villages, talking with people, things like that. I wish the cameras would give you a better representation of what I see. They kind of do, but they don't at the same time. They just don't give you the depth. They make everything look super far away and very small. We will try to do 7,000. Like I was saying, we've got clouds up here now up to probably at least 12,000. Ahead of us up to probably 14,000 already. Ones ahead of me and beside me are probably 7,500 to 8,000 or so. So we'll just try to wiggle our way through. There's a big valley coming up right after this cloud, and it goes this way, and then another one going up that way. So my plan is to kind of wiggle our way up. And Andrew is right there at AYHA down at Haya. That is a very slippery and muddy runway, and I'm sure it's very slippery today. There we go. This is opening up really nice. That's just a big valley here. Can't really see it, but it's a lighter color. So if we head all the way out here, and then there's some light tracks going up that way. I'll throw up on the screen some drone shots from Haya, just so you guys can see kind of in your head what it looks like there. It is a pretty difficult place to get into because you can see all these clouds here, and they go all the way down to around 1,000 feet off the ground, all the way up to 10, 11, 12,000 feet, with enough holes to be able to get down easily and comfortably. But it's a lot easier to see from the top looking down than it is from the bottom looking up. It just looks like one big cloud. Whereas when you're up here, you can kind of pick out and go, okay, yeah, I've got enough, probably maybe 3 miles hole here to wiggle my way down and come over here. But when you're down there, it's much harder. You got to just fly out the valleys or come to an area that has a long valley that you can do an IMC climb out of. So I'm going to make a little bit of a left-hand turn here. I'm not seeing any good path that way. I'm coming around this cloud right here. I'm starting to see it open up just kind of like I was thinking. It's a pretty skinny area right through there. We'll head through there and then take a right out. Might even be able to see it just a little bit better depicted on here. You can see this river right here and this river up this way. That's how the valleys are. That's my lowest spot. That's another way you can figure out where to go is try to find the rivers. They're going to be the lowest spot usually, and work alongside of those. So we've got mountains coming up this way and mountains coming up this way with a valley coming up that way. It's clear up that valley right now, but those mountains are also going up, so the clouds are going to slowly get along those ridges. For me to actually get this to work, I'm going to go a little bit further out this way and then take a right, other than trying to go over this last mountain range, because I just don't think that I'd be able to stay at 7,000. I mean, again, I can climb all the way up, but it's interesting. I started flying here, let's see, in 2015 is when I started flying. I was flying an air van, and I came down to Wabo and Haya and Karamui over here as kind of, this was my little region that I did, 50 to 100, probably 100 square miles that I flew a lot. And I would say Wabo was the place I went to the absolute most. And I remember back then, if I would come out on a day like this and see this many clouds, man, it would just be beyond stressful, because I was VFR only at that time. The plane was not rated for IFR, basically going through clouds conditions. It was just much more difficult to only have that as your only option. I mean, I can have the option to go over or top. I can have the option to even go through the clouds now. It makes my life way easier and way less stressful. Now, we want to go up this way here. So this is looking like the channel that I want to go up. There's a big area right here that I always know works. I am not really... Let's see if I can throw a terrain on. I think I'm too high up, really, but you can see that little tiny gap right there. That's what I'm shooting for, is that little gap. Let's head that way. I'm 99% sure that this is the correct light spot going up. I'm just looking at this chart here, looking at the clouds, trying to determine what I'm seeing is matching up with where I want to go. Yeah, I think this is it, because I'm looking at a hole up there, maybe where the gap is, and it looks like this is... I can see my orientation. I still need to go a little bit more, so yes, this is the correct one. I'm going to hug this side of the valley in case I need to make a right-hand turn back out, in case there's rain in the gap and I'm not able to make it through visually. Then I'm going to come out this way, off to the right. Once we get a little bit closer, I'll probably start slowing down, prop forward 20 degrees of flap, slowing down to 80, 90 knots. That I have my terrain configuration so that I'm really slow. I can climb out really fast. I'm ready to go with like a VX climb if need be. Other than just going fat, dumb, and happy and full speed ahead and then hoping for the best, you know? It looks like I'm pointing directly at it. I don't see anything yet. I see kind of the V where the clouds are up high. I'm looking for that because that's showing me right where the actual gap is. If I just look at the clouds alone, I can draw a visual picture and go, okay, that's because that's the lowest part, so all the clouds are starting there and building up from there. Autopilot off. Let's go ahead and start getting set up. Up forward now, below 138, so I can immediately get into my flaps if need be. Right at 7,000. I'm seeing a definite area where the gap is, but we might have to wiggle around these clouds a little bit, and we might have to pop up to 7,500 potentially. Let's do 10 degrees of flaps. I'm all the way on the right-hand side. I'm seeing a hole directly through it. But I'm going to want to go much slower if I'm going to stay at 7,000. To make sure that I can get myself through it. And I'm 100% clear on the other side before I commit myself to enter into it. Let's go 20 degrees of flaps. Now we're set up for VX climb. All I have to do is add power and pitch. 7,100, let's go back down. Now, 10 years ago when I started, I would just be like, let's just go high and go around everything. When you can do this safely and you start seeing patterns for weather and you're like, oh, I know where I can go, it's the lowest, things like that, it's really, really helpful because when we do fly commercial passengers in Papua New Guinea, we have to stay VFR and a single engine. Yeah, see, look, it's already starting to clear up really nice. I'm at 6980. It's verifying on here. Yep, that's where the gap is. That's where I'm thinking the gap is. I'm seeing down through now. Let's come over here so I can see a little bit better. I'm seeing probably 15 miles in one little section, so it's low and it's all open above. I'm just coming over here so I can see a little bit better. Yep, I'm seeing down into the other side now. I'm not sure if the cameras actually picked that up or not. Right at 7,000. We're clear. We're committing ourselves to go ahead and go through now. So we're for sure going to be able to make it through. Take my flaps back out. We're 10 degrees now. Add my power back in for cruise, go 0 degrees, and bring my prop back to 2,000 RPM. If you're wondering what the red and the yellow is, that's just red, you're dead in the mountains, and yellow, you're within 1,000 feet. Red is 100 feet or less.
Copy, shall be spotted for Roger. About 1,000 by the Google.
Make a slow descent, probably to 6,000. So that I can stay down below a lot of these clouds out through here. And we'll just follow that little river all the way up and right into the Goroka Valley. Now let's bring up our power back up to 1250 on the torque. That's our cruise, 2,000 on the RPM. Now that we're clear clouds, we can go heading in altitude mode. Moresby 65908, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, revised estimate 03 Goroka via the call, 7,000.
November Tango Kilo, apologies, request departure details.
Negative, this is November Tango Echo. November Tango Kilo is still on the ground high.
November Tango Echo.
If you guys like these sunglasses, I've got them on sale for you guys in gold frames, silver frames, as well as the more the classic style polarized ones. I really like them. I love these ones because they're glass lenses, they're non-polarized, so I can still use them easily with these screens. And they're scratch resistant because they are glass lenses. They've really held up really, really well. So check out the link down below. I think I have them on sale for 75 bucks, normally 100 bucks. I do international shipping on them as well. Goroka Tower, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo Goroka Tower.
Morning, November Tango Echo, 12 miles through the call 7000. Your circuit 04.
November Tango Echo. Airport traffic at this stage is
500.
Runway 35 right, QNH 1019. Wind showing 230 at 5 knots. Report left base.
1019, report left base, 35 right, November Tango Echo. On over here to the arrival landing, we are going to be coming in at 62 knots at the slowest, which we probably will not come in quite that slow today. Usually I come in around 70 knots into Goroka. Autopilot off. You can do this, turn to runway 350. Gives me a nice line on there, even though I can see it. Full selectors are both on. Our TAWS is enabled or disabled right now. Our VREF we've got finished. Our lights, our inlet we've got finished. If we have to go around, it's power up.
500.
20 degrees of flaps. For the climb, maneuvers required. 4.3 miles out. Reduce the power down to 400 or so foot-pounds of torque. Once I'm below 138 knots, then we'll get our flaps in, and that will also help slow us on down before turning final where we need full flaps. There's 10 degrees of flaps. Going down a little more, there's 120.
November Tango Echo, runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 35 right, November Tango Echo. Even though I'm coming in for a base, in my mind I'm kind of visually unwrapping the circuit. So I know I want to be entering my base, or normally turning base at 5800 with 20 degrees of flaps and around 80 or 90 knots initiating the turn and 80 knots rolling out. So there's 5850 right now. Go ahead and turn a little bit more perpendicular to the runway. Add a little bit of power so that my speeds don't get too slow here in the base. I am a little bit low. Turn final checklist is complete. Cleared to land. Slow into 70. There we go, 5600, 1.8 miles. That's right where I want to be. There's 70 knots. Bump in the power to hold it. I'm a couple knots fast. I just barely reduce the power. Don't change my pitch. Don't do anything. I just keep everything exactly the same.
500.
Just adjusting my power as I'm coming in to keep my speeds direct, like right on. There's an updraft, probably followed by a downdraft here in a minute. Still an updraft. A really long one. 2 knots of tailwind. Still an updraft. I can still feel it. 500 on the descent, 550. We're back to 70. Here's the downdraft. There's a big downdraft. 50 on the descent, 70 knots. Runway's clear, we're continuing. Well, if you thought that flight was fun, following along, give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought. Thanks for joining me. I do like it when you guys follow along with my videos. I enjoy making them for you still, believe it or not, after like 4 years. And I'll see you on the next flight.